Good morning. Welcome in for another Friday safety focus of this week. This week's code of conduct is to maintain confidentiality of inside information learned about ECI or about our clients. Anything to add, Ben Dow?
Yeah, a lot of places that we work in, contracts we sign actually have agreements that we're not going to talk about some of the things that we see or do at some facilities, and the managers will let you know if we're signing any of these special things, but it's always best to use good judgment and discretion when talking about things that we learn on our projects, regarding other facilities, but also regarding our own operations and bids and things like that. So just before you say it, think about it a little bit, and I think everyone probably has the best judgment.
Indeed. So good job this past week on the injury front. We are up to 44 days without recordable. 21 from our last first aid. We did have a minor vehicle incident, yes, or 2 days ago. We did have a cap fly off in transit, strike a vehicle behind us. So load securement. Before you get on the interstate, get on the roads, just making sure everything is good and tight.
What flew off, Matt?
A cap. It was like a cap that was on one of those plastic Jersey barriers that you fill full of water, you know?
Oh, okay.
And it dented a car. We're kind of working through the owner of the vehicle now about potential repairs. Wasn't your typical bumper to bumper or failing to stop at a traffic light that we do from time to time. But let's remember safe driving and load securement out there. Tom, I believe you had a safety shout out. Something happened over this past week that you wanted to highlight quick about first aid.
Yeah, Paul Sabrin II was on his way to work and drove across a car accident and was able to use what he had for first aid stuff in his vehicle to help the driver and get them help. So shout out to Paul Sabrin II.
Good job, Paul. That's awesome.
Paul. Is my screen still sharing?
44 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So this week we're going to tackle our annual training on Hazcom, our Hazardous Communication Standard. This is a requirement by OSHA that every year each employer trains their workers on Hazcom. Hopefully by now, between the new employees kind of going through orientation where we talk about this, and then hopefully all of our seasoned vets now all know that we have a hazardous communication.
Another one right back here.
And this program is meant to really make sure that you are aware of any chemicals that you may or even may not come in contact with. And it has really three basic sections to the program. All right. It's all about labeling. It's all about the SDS sheets. And then it's all about training. So if you can remember those three things with Hazcom, labeling, the SDS sheets, and training, then you should know pretty much that ECI has a program. It's a very boilerplate, regulatory compliance written document. You can find it in Teams through the Foreman Supervisors channel. Hit Files, hit Library, and then you'll see a lot of our boilerplate kind of compliance requirement programs in there. So it's also known as the employee right to know law. So you have the right to know of any hazardous chemicals that you come in contact with. For the most part, it's a lot of our stuff that we do concrete, in and around concrete, or sealants, current curing agents, additives. Other than that, you got your hydraulics, your diesel, your gas. Those are kind of the big ones. So for us, don't drink it. Gets on your hands, gets on your skin, wash it off. But the SDS sheets does have a lot of good information on it regarding storage. Is it flammable? How to properly clean it up if a spill occurs, and how to properly store it. And if there is some first aid measures needed, how to properly address those, maybe first aids if it's flushing with water, if it gets in your eyes and things like that. And they're broken down into 16 sections. So here's a kind of a little example of the newest kind of labels that we're slowly trickling into our industry. This changeover happened in about 2016, and it's taken a long time for the manufacturers to really change their processes and procedures regarding labeling. But the idea now, the new labels will be these pictograms, and we'll go over those pictograms again. Hopefully, I don't expect everybody to remember them all the time, but Tom and I, as we're slapping on new labels to some of our secondary containments, we're going to be kind of throwing on these types of labels and then identifying a word such as danger or flammable along with that. And it's supposed to be kind of the universal language for chemical awareness. It are these pictograms. So here we have as health hazards. It's kind of a person with like a starburst in the chest. Then you of course have this one, flammable. When you see that, that means that it's explosive, flammable. Skull and crossbones. Okay, those are your acute toxic issues, your hazards, chemicals. And then you got explosive with like a ball bursting. The circle with the flame above it is your oxidizers, which we don't really have a whole lot. But when we do work at other facilities, we will see that from time to time. Exclamation point is kind of those acute skin sensitive, acute toxicity types of chemicals. Corrosive, of course. Hopefully everybody kind of knows that one by now. It's like a tube broken, kind of burns, a burning type of chemical to your skin and could melt other objects. The environmental one is kind of like a dead tree and a dead fish. And then you got your gas cylinders, which of course we have with propane. Oxygen settling is that type of hazard. And those are gases under pressure. So there's a whole different safety topic regarding oxygen settling handling, which we're scheduled to do here in the near future. So we're going to be making sure that all of our containers are properly labeled with these pictograms. Identify a warning if it's flammable, health hazards, things like that. And then we should also write down kind of what it is on the container. Where we get in trouble is when we move from like a bigger 55-gallon drum or a 15-gallon drum into some of those spray pumps, our form oil pumps, our sealant little pump sprayers. We need to make sure that we are transferring labels to those containers. I know sometimes we wash those out and we put different types of chemicals in there. Every time we do that, though, we need to slap a label on. Tom and myself, we have label makers readily available. Just contact Health and Safety. We'll make sure that you got proper labels when you're out there on the job sites. I know a lot of our CMs that we work for, PC, DW, these are those low-hanging fruits that they get us on all the time. That we don't have our stuff properly labeled. So it takes us all, this effort takes all of us. It's not just Tom and my responsibility to check all this stuff. So when you see it, say something so we can get it fixed. And it's easy as just writing taking a Sharpie and just writing on it. And for the time being, that works in the standard. If you just do that initially to get the awareness out that this is properly labeled and everybody knows what's in that container. And then we can put a more formal compliance-driven label on it after the fact. So where are they all located? We have hard copies around the shop in the office area. But again, all of our SDS sheets are also on that Foreman Supervisors channel under the library. So click Files, click Libraries, and then your SDS sheet's there. And it's a good kind of big Excel sheet that opens up, and you can push some buttons in it, and then a PDF will launch. And again, it's broken down into 16 sections. So in each section, it pretty much talks about all the different types of uses that you might need. So like section 7 is all about first aid. Section 11 and 12 is kind of storage and spill release, what to do with those. And that, for the most part, is all you really need to look at. And the headers and everything like that will give you all your labels of what labels need to be on which chemical. So it's a kind of a rough and dirty little training on Hazcom, but that's kind of, we have a program. We want to label all of our stuff. We want to communicate the potentials, and also PP requirements. Some might need extra goggles per se, or splash protection on some of the stuff, because it could be extreme eye irritant, or even maybe a respirator if we're mixing a lot of it. So those are the tips and tricks of Hazcom. So it's all in our best interest to making sure that we're aware of what we're working with, that it's properly labeled, we're storing it properly, and what to do if we spill it. Tom or Ben, any questions or follow-up info?
Yeah, just something to add. If you go over, let's say you go over to Prescott's and you're going to get something and they're like, well, we don't have what you normally have. We're going to give you this instead. Make sure that you're giving us a call so we can make sure that it's in the SDS masters. The other thing too is some of the labels that we're putting out there, they have little QR codes. If you scan those QR codes, it'll bring you right to the SDS sheets for that chemical. Just make sure that when you need labels that you're letting us know. When we see stuff without labels, we're adding labels, but sometimes there's going to be stuff that's jammed in the back of a job trailer that we just don't see. So just let us know and we'll help you with it. So
Yep. This is a program that we need a lot of engagement and involvement with. So we have a lot of chemicals that we.
And these are the things that we'll get if we get visited by an officer from VOSHA, or they'll ask us about this, especially if they see us using a chemical, right?
Yes, it's still, for probably the 20th year in a row, it's been a top 10 citation by a compliance officer, and they normally get you on training because they'll ask the question, does your employer have a hazardous communication program? And someone might say no, and then they say, you didn't train them well enough.
Yeah. And almost always comes down to them writing us a ticket and us having to pay them a fine.
Exactly.
Well, it's an absolute layup for them too, for a lot of this stuff. It's like,
yeah,
they know, that's why they ask about it,
It's one of the things, when you're doing things right, they get you on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me switch over. Move my camera. Okay, can you see the screen, my screen?
Yes.
All right. Oh, this morning when I got on a little early, and I always notice Mike Ronaldo, Chris Potvin, Joe Prouse, and the Tool Crib are always the first people to get on this meeting in the morning. So sometimes I have my mic shut off. So if I'm talking, I try to make sure my mic shut off. But good morning to you guys, and thanks for being prompt and getting onto the meeting first. I appreciate it. Okay, hazard communication. We talked about that. I got a few announcements here. To start off, the 2025 kickoff meeting is going to be this next Friday, which is the Friday coming after next week, and everyone's expected everyone's invited and expected to attend the meeting. It's going to be at 99 Engineers Drive, right across the road from my office, and that meeting is going to be all set up with food and some snacks and drinks, not alcoholic, but we'll have some refreshment, and we're gonna have a great meeting. Probably gonna try to have a hard stop at 4, but if anyone has questions after, we'll certainly be here. I'd like everybody to plan their week and their day so that they could attend. We're going to have a lot of good stuff. We're going to be talking a little bit about our ESOP. We're going to be talking a lot about the opportunities of some of the work that we have coming this year, our backlog. And we've invited everyone this year, and we're going to give everyone a little bit more information than we have in the past about some of the things that in a lot of companies you don't hear, because we're now employee owners. So please, if you can, please plan to be there. The ESOP informational meetings that we've been having have been very successful. We've had, I believe, 9. We have so far had 80 of us out of 218. So that's 40% of all ECI employees have kind of been through this informational meeting. And it's meant to be somewhat of a training, but it's also a lot of information to help you understand what it means to be an employee owner here at ECI. It talks about things about how we get vested over a number of years and how we get beneficial stock in the company. And it talks a lot about the wealth that it creates for our futures, which is there's some really interesting info, and I think it will help everybody to attend. So we've been doing this for 9 weeks, and we've got 40% of us, but we need to get that other 60% because my goal is that every owner of ECI at least has the basic understanding of what it is. So if you haven't come, it's important that you do, and we're going to be contacting you in the coming month to try to make sure that we get you guys trained up. Reminder on DigSafe is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but now they have 72 hours to locate after we mark it out and call it in or initiate the ticket.
Yep. I just wanted to send that out to everybody as I was looking at the crew calendar schedules. Looks like things are starting to ramp up in the next couple of weeks, so I don't want to get caught. We call one in on Thursday. Again, that does not include weekends. So we call one on Thursday. It's not going to be ready till Tuesday.
Yeah.
So for your pre-planning,
Yeah.
call them on Wednesday for Monday.
Yeah. So it's just we've gotten so used to just the 2-day thing that adding that extra day is going to be take us a little bit to get used to, but I think planning ahead is important for this one. All right, I've got some stuff to talk about on Fleetio. We want to get that Fleetio app ready before we have any upcoming training and before next Friday. I've got Ben McKinney, I believe, is on. Ben, are you on, and are you prepared to share your screen? Do you have something that you could show us on Fleetio this morning?
I do.
Okay,
hey,
thanks.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, so at 2:00 last Wednesday, or this Wednesday, a couple days ago, on the 19th, everybody on the global email list, all employees, that was the intent, got an email from Brendan Stringer. Brendan's been a big part of rolling this new software out, and what it is a username and password for everybody, so we can all get this Fleetio app on our phones. If you don't know, Fleetio is our new fleet and fuel management software. So this is something that all the guys in the shop are using to keep track of service intervals, part numbers, maintenance schedules. And it's something that we all use in the field to keep track of our off-road diesel fuel entries into equipment, into transfer tanks, out of bulk tanks, the whole 9 yards. And the reason that it's the same software for two things right now, or previously we had GemCar and we had Teams, merging this into one means that when we type an off-road diesel fuel log, the hours off the piece of equipment go straight to the shop. So there's no more, guessing, calling, writing down on a piece of paper, discovering that something's way over a service interval. These guys are getting the information in real time, and beyond that, it's got a lot of other benefits. So you can see this email. If you didn't notice it, go back a couple of days to Wednesday, check it out, and your username is going to be your first initial and then your last name. So mine is B McKinney, and until you change it, your password is capital ECI Fleetio 321 ! So,
so once you get in there, you're going to want to change it to a personal one for yourself.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So that'll get you in. It's a web app, so you can go through like from a computer. You can just go through on the internet, and this is what it looks like for that. So I can log in, and I've got a pretty nice interface where I can look at our entire list. This is something we all have access to now. It's kind of cool. It's powerful. This could be helpful when you're doing your time versus just using Foundation. You can look through and you can sort by year. You can sort by make and model. You can see the VIN. It's pretty neat. We're going to be, assigning users to these vehicles for, like take-home vehicles or big trucks, for the guy who's in it every day. We're also going to be uploading pictures. So the thing that most of us in the field are more likely to use, let me share my other screen here. I think this is going to work. I'm going to share my phone screen. Can you guys see this? I was messing around with this last night. Just give it a second. It's a little laggy.
Yep.
Yep. We got
Okay.
it.
We see it. That's cool.
All
That's
right.
cool.
Cool. So once you guys go in and once you guys go, you get that login, you see your email, you got to take your phone and you got to go wherever you get apps. So that'd be like Play Store for an Android user. I think for Apple, it's like
App Store. Yeah.
App Store. Okay. So you go in there and you download this app that's called Fleetio Go. And I think Brendan had a screenshot of what that looks like in the email. Fleetio Go, Fleetio, Fleetio Go. So once you download it, and I'm showing you my I lost my, I gotta reshare. Sorry about that. It timed out.
Okay. Yeah.
Once you guys download that app, it should look something like this. All right, here we go. So it's a little different than the web app. The web app on your computer is a little more well laid out, on a bigger screen. This app should pop up here any second. This app on your phone is going to look like this. This is your home screen. I just clicked home. So when you can do a number of things with it. On this front screen, you can see add issue. So if you have a non-safety sensitive, non-emergent issue, like maybe the horn doesn't work, or maybe it seems like the tire's really getting low at one specific tire, not low on air, but maybe low on tread. Something that's not going to blow the machine up, cause somebody to get hurt, leaking fluid. Obviously, you call Pat or Chico for that kind of thing. But if you have an issue that can be taken, God damn it,
It's appeared again.
Yeah, that can be taken care of at a later date. You go in here, and
so we can report it, right? It'll go right to the shop, or they'll get it.
They'll get it. They'll get it instantly. So that's one thing. So the other thing, pre-trip inspections. We already have our big truck drivers and movers using these pre-trip inspections. So you can see you'll see it in a second here. I won't let it time out again. You go start inspection. It brings up this DOT inspection report, and now you have a list of all these vehicles. Now some of these are not big trucks, but if you were a big truck driver, maybe you're 914. That's Eric. You can see the criteria for a DOT pre-trip inspection. This is really it's kind of a slow link between a phone and Teams, but anyway,
so
we
then
won't go
you
through the
go
whole thing.
and check off everything as you go, right?
If you're a commercial driver, if you're in a CDL truck, this is now we're having to replace the carbon copies. Okay, but last but not least, and what's probably most important for us is off-road diesel fuel logging. And we're going to go over this more at the kickoff meeting, but we want everybody to show up at the kickoff meeting with this installed on their phone and having done it, or at least having looked around in it. If you don't fill something up with off-road diesel, then you won't do it. But we want people to get the idea. So you go into this browse. You can see those 4 squares at the bottom that says browse, and you go into vehicles. So you always got to think, like, what am I doing? I'm fueling a vehicle, equipment, vehicle. They're analogous here. Let's go vehicles, and let's just say that I'm operating one of our bucket loaders. I always remember this one because I think it's inconvenient. We have a 624 whose asset number is 524. There it is.
Yep. The
So
624J.
yeah, so I'm running this 624J. That's what I'm fueling. So I go to that 624J. I go to it. I can see, oh, look, I see its hours. I can see some service history on it. I can go in and look at the work orders. You may not care about any of that. If you're a mechanic, maybe you do. But that top one, fuel log. I click fuel log. It'll come.
It's just got a little lag when you're
Yeah,
doing it on Teams.
it kind of sucks. I was gonna hold it up to the camera, but I think this is better, even though it's slow.
Yep.
So once you click fuel log, it just disappeared really quickly, but you have a little plus mark, a green plus mark in the bottom that's add plus add. Click that. Now I'm here. Okay, cool. This is the business end. The date, it automatically knows it's today's date. You do not need to put the price per gallon. If you want to and you're at the pump, you can. That's up to you. The little red circles, that means what's required. Gallons are required. Number of gallons of fuel are required. I'm going to put 42 gallons in it. The hour meter is required. You can't put 0. You can't put 1,000,000. And not only will that give us bad data and defeat the purpose of this, but it won't let you. If you try to put in an hour reading that's lower than what's there, or obviously too high to have gone just on one tank of fuel, the app knows that and it'll reject it.
Yep.
Fuel type, in this case, it should be off-road diesel. I mean, it could be diesel, but we should be using off-road. Vendor, this is where you got the fuel. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a gas station vendor. It's where you got it. So when you click vendor, if you drove that loader to the pump, for some reason, there we go. You got to click on the actual word all the way to the left. You'll see when you get in there. So you can go all the way down to the very bottom and you can see global fuel. That's Marshall Ave, Industrial Ave, or other fuel vendor. So that could just be any random station with diesel. So you click one of those. Usually we're not driving heavy equipment to the gas station. So usually we're using a transfer tank and a bulk tank. So we've got all our white bulk tanks in here by number. And then we've also got all our vehicle transfer tanks. So let's say I wheel up to this thing, my bucket loader that I'm running, and I'm driving crew truck 225. That's the vendor. So I'll select 225 and I'll go up here and I'll click done. That's basically it. You can add a photo if you want. You don't need to. And then you can save it. And that's it. It goes in. So it's pretty slick. It's a little more convenient than Teams. Now keep in mind when you fuel those fuel tanks up, I'll go back here to vehicles. Let's just back up a little bit. I haven't got to the bucket loader yet. I'm in truck 225. I've got an empty transfer tank. I've got equipment to fuel up. When I put diesel in my transfer tank, I also have to log that. It's the same rules as we have now. I'll go 225. I'll find this crew truck. I'll go in here. I'll go add that green circle, fuel entry. Again, this isn't fuel into the pickup. You do not have to log in gasoline or diesel into a pickup truck or a big truck. This is all about off-road diesel and heavy equipment. The only thing is we log it into the equipment, we log it into the transfer tank, we log it out of the transfer tank. Same rules as we do now. It's just a different application. So same thing, 225, got my date. Click on the word gallons. Again, it's kind of finicky with where you click. Oh, not really
Just
sure
have to
why.
make sure to hit the red dots.
Oh, there you go. You got to go over to you got to go. I was too far to the left. You go over to the right and actually click the number. Gallons, put 90 gallons in it. Odometer. This is the truck odometer. Does it matter? Yes, it's a metric. It's not like the hours on the machine that matters a lot, but the truck odometer does matter. Just, that truck's got 70,000 miles. Okay. I put fuel type. I didn't put diesel. I put off-road diesel. Okay, good. Where did I get it from? Well, I was on site and I just I just grabbed it from the bulk tank, but the machine was down over the bank, so I had to make an intermediate move. Okay, cool. That's it. Done. Save. I'm not saving these because I'm making these up and I don't want a bunch of bad data in the system. So when you're playing around, that's good. Just don't actually submit them unless they're real. That's it. We'll talk more about it at the kickoff meeting. I know it's kind of like drinking from the fire hose. Once you guys get the app and look around in it, I think you'll find that it's easy, it's fast, it's better than the old system. Foremen, crew leaders, please help your guys that do fueling get this on their phone so everybody has it.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.
So this is just another good way for us to keep track of all of our fuel. So we'll probably tell you how much we spend in fuel a month, but think about all the fuel running around in the backs of all these pickup trucks, and how responsible it is for us to keep track of it and make sure that we know where it's going to.
It's that, and then it's also just this gets the hours to the guys in the shop. So no more having a machine come off a 1-year job and realize it's 500 hours overdue for an oil change.
Yep. Yeah.
Now we're still getting used to it. So when you're greasing and checking fluid levels in the morning, look at that filter number. And if you notice that it's 500 hours, at 500 hours since the last service or anything over 400, you could still call Pat, or you could submit it, shoe on Fleetio. But in theory, doing this, the fill up will get those hours there automatically. The machine, the system will figure it out. The guys aren't scouring through this and comparing hour meters and readings. It flags it and it says, hey, you're at 400, you're at 390 hours. Within 10 hours, you need to do an oil change, and the guys will have it and they'll schedule it.
Yeah, I think you can take pictures with it too. If something's going on with your vehicle and you're like, this isn't a real emergency, I can't get the guys in the shop right now. So you can take a picture of it and send a report and they'll get it, which is another good way of us to be able to communicate. So thanks, Ben. There'll be more on that, and it'll become second nature to everybody, I'm sure, after a while. It's a new change, but I think it's going to be very, very good for us. All right, can you see my screen again? I'll get through this.
We got it.
Okay, congratulations to Gina Catanzarita. She officially retired last week. She came to ECI back in 2022 after retiring from Engelberth Construction, which was little ECI. She worked for 30 plus years over there. And she ended up being the HR director over there at Engelberth. Before coming here, she stepped in to provide a lot of guidance for us in our HR department and needs. Her knowledge and experience contributed greatly to our HR program. One of the major things that she did was to help us to get our revision of our handbook that hadn't been touched since 2010. She helped us get that over the goal line for our new handbook. That was a lot of work. She also helped us to get Aaron, who's now here with us as our full-time HR administrator. And once she got Aaron up to speed, she got very excited in the last few weeks about going back to retirement. So we had a little get together yesterday, a send off from the admin staff. Several of us went up and had a nice lunch with her, and there's Gina in the middle. Hopefully she'll keep baking things. I know that the survey team is going to miss her because for some reason they're able to tell whenever she would bring something in, and a quick trip up the steps provided them with a lot of good snacks. And we got a lot of them over here too. So thanks, Gina, and congratulations. We have a new employee. He started this week, Rain. Rain Rogan is going to be working as a bridge worker. So I think he's going to be with Brad. So that's cool. Tom Lawyer, are you on?
I am.
Let's go through our introduce and go through our project of the week.
Let me know when I'll let you do the driving. So good morning, everybody. This project we're going to talk about this morning is a drain repair or slope repair we did in Shelburne, Vermont. ECI was hired to assist Hank and Natalie Harder with a slope failure that was directly adjacent to the side of their home. We've got some great pictures here, but I'll kind of ad lib as we go to put some more detail in here. The home was featured in Better Homes and Gardens magazine. It is a absolute beautiful property throughout. Earlier, probably 2 years prior to this, we were introduced to this family when we installed a sewer pump station in about 1,000 feet of sewer force main by directional drilling and tying into the municipal system. The primary cause of the slope failure was high flow conditions in the stream at the base of the slope. This was due to recent increased extreme storm patterns in our area. We had monitored this slope over the last year, and actually after the last, I think it was July, heavy rains, we went in and put tarp down to just reinforce poly to protect the slope from falling further, which was great because I think this got to within about 25 feet of their home. So that put a band-aid on it until the fall of the year when we got in there and did it. But ultimately, there was also a second contributing factor. There was a broken drain pipe from under the home that was causing erosion from the top of the slope. So ECI developed a plan to repair the under drain to create a stabilized discharge for the under drain pipe, stabilize the embankment with large rock, and build a retaining wall out of dimensional stone. A couple things were considered. We looked at gabion baskets there, and ultimately just a stone slope was installed. The existing stream had a very steep profile in the area of the failed embankment. ECI installed rock within the stream to level out the profile and slow the stream water down. Rock dams were also strategically placed in the stream bed to further decrease the chances of future toe erosion. The property owner was so happy with this work, she asked us to build a decorative paint stone wall at the top. Jesse's got some great pictures here. We'll show those shortly of the embankment, which opened up a whole new area for her to build a future outdoor patio, and I'm sure more planting. We also installed drainage improvements around their pool area, which is on the other side of their house. Everyone involved, we were just talking about Gina and her baked goods. So Natalie Harder is a top shelf baker as well, and she served our crews cookies and cream pies and brownies almost every day. When you went there on the front porch, you had a Tupperware dish, and everybody enjoyed those, and a bunch of them made them to the office. So here's the pictures. This is on the, I guess, the south side of the project where the project began. This whole drainage ditch was about 200 feet. Let's go down to the next
Good
picture.
size rock in there.
Yeah, we started off with that. Wait do you see the bigger rock we put in here? And this is building the stone wall up closer to the home. There was a bend in the stream bed as well. This ultimately dumps into the La Platte River. If you go to the far end of their property, they've got a big open area there. It's a gorgeous piece of property. You can scroll to the next one. This is showing the under drain pipes, and there's still this last 10 feet to get to the house. So they had installed perforated pipe here where it should have been a solid drainage pipe. And in addition to it being just chock full of soils, it had broken and collapsed. So it wasn't really doing much other than just washing everything away. So they replaced everything. We're going to go back in the spring with some final cleanup because there's a stone walkway up here that we kind of got to do that with a little TLC. Keep coming down here. This is the higher rock sections here. And this isn't the final rocks. On top of this, we put the paint and stone because she wanted a gray color to match all of her other stone work that she's done here. And here, I think that's Greer and Corey probably catching their breath after putting those rocks into place by hand. So, that's another nice view of it. And like I said, right here where this orange fence is, that we were from the edge of that house, that erosion, I think it was about 25 feet. It got that close, and that had advanced probably another, 20 feet to get to that 20-foot mark. It had pushed another 25 feet over the last 12 months. So it was definitely getting close. And these drainage pipes here are going to be cut a little shorter so they're not visual as well. This is a nice look of the stream bed coming down.
So that catches a lot of water. Right now it
does.
Like there's nothing there, but that when it really pours, that thing fills right up.
Yeah, it's catching a ton of water, and there's a small culvert that the town's going to have to deal with. It feeds into it, just gets inundated constantly. This is the beginning of the higher section. This what we call this new real estate that she'll turn into something special. I look forward to going back here in about a year from now after she's done all her work, just to get
Yep.
and I'll get pictures and we'll put them up here for everybody to see what it looks like. Keep going,
Nice,
Ben.
nice
Yeah.
cleanup bucket work. Del Gilly would be impressed. Or although
Yes,
he would
included.
have gotten those little teeny ridges out because he didn't like us raking on top of his stuff.
So this is the
Picture of the
pan
wall.
stone. Yeah.
Yep.
This is the pan stone we brought in for the new patio, and the gardens on surrounding this entire house were just they're everywhere, and she really done a lot of work with it. When we started talking about this project, it was I think Brendan. I don't know if Brendan was there, but certainly Adam was. Adam was there, myself, the homeowners, and Natalie's like, well, can we save this? Can we save that? Can we save this? Trying to save every little plant bulb. And Adam Piper was fantastic with, nope, it's all got to go. It's all going to get destroyed. And that's what you got to deal with. But we needed to have a direct message there because it's just it's obtrusive work, and we just couldn't save every single plant. But she was good with it. And we did a lot of other clearing when we were down there and really opened this property up. And honestly, going into this, we knew as it started to develop and she started to visualize things were going to change, and that's exactly what happened. And we encouraged that because we wanted her to have what she wanted in the end. So.
Kind of scary to have that big, much of a flood behind your house whenever a big storm hits. Huh?
Yeah, when that happened in July, it was a Sunday. She called me. We went over there, and it was she was nervous, and then they were gone for a while. We monitored it for them. This home's right not too far from where I live, so it was easy for me to just jump over there and look at things from time to time. But Carter and crew went out and did some immediate clearing of the overburden, put down the poly tarp that really stopped all the erosion until we could get there. And the time of the year for this project was great for us because it gave us a nice, fun project to do in the middle of the winter. This is another look at it.
It'll be nice to see it when it gets all green. Well, thanks, Tom.
I think, like I said, I think a year from now it'll be cool to go look at it, and I will do that and get pictures.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. And guys and Jesse and everybody and Adam who worked on that project.
Yeah. One other thing on this client here, ECI and our giving, we work with the Vermont National Charitable Foundation. Yeah. Hank Harder is big time into the Vermont Guard, and Natalie is actually on that board for the Charitable Foundation. So she a number of times has said thank you, kudos to all of us at ECI for what we do for those folks. So I just wanted to send that message along for all of you to hear.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom, and everyone. I found a cool photo from the archives. This is back in 2002, and didn't have really. I wanted to get the picture of the excavator sitting on the rail car. That was just the Northfield slope repairs we did. We had one excavator sat right on the rail car, and I don't know if anybody's here that remembers that. Maybe Randy Piper or Ricky, but getting the riprap out of the rail car is kind of cool. That was back in Alan Pigeon's ownership era of ECI. Pretty cool. 330 up on the deck. Okay, I'll turn it back over to the safety guys.
Yeah, thank you. If you're watching a group setting, please send that over to Tom or myself so we can capture attendance and safe. A lot of slip, trips, and fall potential today. So watch where we're walking. If you got ice, let's eliminate it with ice melt. Let's drive safe out there. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.